Hello everyone, I welcome you all to my Day 3 React.js in-depth tutorial. So this is my YouTube channel. So you will find videos related to the React.js. There are 5 videos on React.js crash course. It covers from beginner's level to the advanced level. Just go through that so that you will learn React.js in a minimum amount of time. So it covers almost all the important concepts on React.js. Then I have some videos on Angular 8. So you will find 8 videos on Angular 8. It covers also from beginners to advanced level on Angular 8. Just go through the Angular 8 video if you are interested to learn Angular technology. Even you will find videos on CSS3. There are 3 videos on CSS3. There are 4 videos on HTML5. Those who are interested to learn HTML5, CSS3, they also can browse through this channel. So let me close this. So today we are going to learn few important concepts in React.js. So today we'll learn what do we mean by state, props, state management, updating the state, event handling. All these concepts we'll cover today. So today is going to be one of the important class. Okay. So first let me open my code structure. So this is my app component. I have commented some of the codes will uncomment as we progress. Don't worry about that. Here the main important thing is I have a render method. So it's a component, class based component, because in a class we are extending the component, that's why it's a class based component. So in class based component we have a render method in which we have a return method. We have to return some JSX code. So I have a div tag in which I have an free employee component. So I already have created the employee component in my day 2 tutorial. Please go through that. This is my employee folder in which I have created the employee component. This is the employee component. It's a functional component because here we are creating the component using the function, not the class concept. So here we are returning only a div tag. Within that we have a key tag, paragraph tag. Okay. So here the extra thing what I have added is I am passing name and age value to the employee component, and this name and age are called property, or in React.js term it is called props. We are sending props to the employee component. So we are providing 3 different props for 3 different employee components. So in the employee component what we are doing, it's a functional component. So it will receive a parameter props, and this props is an object that contains all the properties that we have sent from the parent component. So using the props we can send data from parent to child. Parent is the app component, child is the employee component. These properties name, age are present in this props object. We can access this property by using this by using the curly braces. So here I am accessing my name is within the curly braces props.name. This name refers to this name property. Okay, then similarly we have props.age for retrieving the age value. So this is how we are passing the data from parent to child, and we are accessing the data in the child by using the props. So props.property name, the prop name. Let's suppose its employee is not, let's suppose this employee is a class component. Now currently it is a functional component. Let's suppose it's a class component, means the class of employee extending the component class. Then it will be a class component. In that case we have to use this.props. Only props is not accessible in the component, in the class component. But in the functional component, as it is now, we don't have to use this because it receives a post parameter, local parameter in the function. So that's why we are getting 3 employee components having different content. You can imagine this as a Facebook page because Facebook uses the React.js. So in Facebook, usually what they do, they create a post component. Like we have employee component, they create a post component, and they keep on repeating the post component and providing the dynamic content to the post component. That's why we'll see different images and description, some different images and description for each and every post. So they are doing the similar kind of approach. They have created a post component, and in the post component they are providing the image props, content props, description props, so that each post component will be displayed dynamically with some different content. Okay. So this is about, we have hard coded the data here. We are passing the data to the employee component just by hard coding. How we can pass the data dynamically? We'll see. So we'll comment this one. We'll uncomment this one. We'll move the style, will come to that later. So for dynamical way of passing the data, we have to use a state property. Okay, so state is a class property, it's a reserved property. We could not name it anything, it should be always state. So it's an object in which we will mention the state. Like we can mention more than one state, or we can say more than one data. Like we have person state, we can mention another state like name, it can be string also. Okay, so as many state you want, you can mention here. So why we are using the state? Because we want to modify this array of persons. So if you want to modify some data in the component itself, then we have to use the state class property. So we have a state property in which we have a person, which is an array of objects. Now this array will pass dynamically to the employee component. They are passing name equal to this dot state dot person. To access this state, we have to use this keyword. This refers to the class name. This dot state dot person, it will give the array of objects, and person of index 0, it will give the first object. Then after index 0 we are giving name, so it will give Anil. Index 1 name, it will give Salman. Index 2 name, it will give Shahrukh. That's in that similar fashion we have written. For first employee, index 0 dot name, second 1 dot name, 2 dot name. Similarly for age also 0 dot age, 1 dot age, 2 dot age. And we have to use this keyword with this state. So in this way we are passing the data dynamically without hard coding. We'll see how it looks. So it looks in the similar fashion. No change, only one extra thing, we have added a button. We'll come to that button. So we have a button in which on click of button we want to call a function, and in that function we want to change the state. So here we learn how to handle the event and how to change the state. So I have a function named as switch handler. Let me uncomment this. In switch handler is a function, an arrow function in which we are updating the state. For updating the state we have set state function. These are the functions which is being available in the component object. That's why we have extended the component. This state, it will also take an object, then we will modify our state. Initially we have person state having 3 objects. Now we have a person state with 3 objects, but the first object name and age are different. So we are modifying the first object, first employee or first person. Okay. So then we'll see on click of button. So on click of button, so this is the event that is being triggered. In normal JavaScript, this on click, the C is in lowercase, but in React.js, the C is in uppercase. That's the difference. This is like the JSX code. You see, like the event, on click event, in on click event, C should be caps. Similarly, for on change event, C should be caps. But in normal JavaScript, everything is in lowercase. So on click event, on click of this button, we have to provide a reference of that function. We should not use like this. We should not call the function here. If you call the function here, then on the page load itself, this method will be called. But we don't want that to be called on page level. We want this function to be called on click of button. So that's why we will remove this parenthesis. We'll provide the reference of this function. So on click of button, it will call this function. In this function, we have written a set state function. This set state is being available because we have extended the component, and in that we are changing the first person name and age. Okay. So then what next? So this is how we'll see how it works actually. So let me tell you one more thing, like on click of the button, it will change the state, and as for the React.js lifecycle, as soon as the state change, it will call the render function, so that our UI get updated. Because in the render function we have written the HTML code. So once the state change, the render function is called. Even on the props change, the props that we are passing to the employee component, as this props change, it will call the render function. So render function is called every time when state or props change, so that our UI get updated. We'll see in action. So we have a button. On click of button, just keep an eye on this first name, on this first team. Click of button. So it is not working. Why? There is something wrong. Why it's not working? So let me fix it. Don't worry, everything will be good. Okay. So here we have switch handler. I missed the R. Let me check. On click of switch, the name change from Anil to Ajay, even the age change from 20 to 60 years. So let me refresh again, we'll see the change again. So the name is Anil and age is 28 years. On click of switch name, the name change as well as the age change, because on click of this button we are calling this function switch handler function. On switch handler function we are changing the name and age of first person. As soon as it change, this state we are providing as a prop to the first employee. So the state change, then the prop change. That's why our UI get updated. Okay. So it's like on click of button, it will call this function. In this function, we are modifying the state by using set state function. As soon as the state modified, the render function again called one more time. In the second time, it will pass the updated props for the first employee. As it passes these props, a new props is passed to this employee. So the render function the return function of this employee component is called again, and our UI get updated. So render function is called every time when our state change as well as the prop change. Please keep it in mind. So let me comment it. So now we'll see how we can pass some parameter to a function. This is a function without any parameters. By default it has the event parameter. We don't need event, so that's why we have not mentioned. Now we see how we can pass a parameter to this function. Okay. So it's now the same function switch handler in which we are passing new name and age, and that new name we are populating here. Earlier we are hard coding the new name and age. Here we are receiving the new name and age from the function parameter, and we are updating the first employee. So let me, which one we should do? So this one, yeah. We'll see how we can pass a parameter to a function. For passing the parameter to a function, what we have to do, we have to, so this one, we have to pass a, so now what I want is like on click of the paragraph in the employee function, I want to change the name for that employee. So we'll see how we can pass the function reference to this from the parent to child. So here we have provided a props, click prop. In click prop we are calling the switch name handler function in which we are passing two values, Govinda as the name and 59 as the age. So in this way we can pass the value to a function by using the bind function. Okay. And another way of passing the parameter to a function is by using this arrow function. In the arrow function we will pass the name and age. This is the second way of passing parameter to a function. Now what I want is, it's a click is a prop, it's not a event. Here, like previously we have on click event, that's why on click of button this function is called automatically, but here it's not an event, it's a prop. Don't be confused because on is missing. So that's why on click of person it won't change the name, it's a prop. We are passing these click props to the person component, to the employee component, I mean the employee component. In the employee component what we will do, we have an on click event. On click of that event we are accessing props.click. This is the click. Okay, this is the click props that we are passing. So we are passing a function reference with some parameter, and on click of this paragraph in the employee component, that props we are accessing on click event, so it will call the switch handler function. And this switch handler function having the two parameters, so it will go to the switch handler function having two parameters. In switch handler function we are changing the state on the basis of the parameter received. As soon as the state change, the render method is called, and as the render method is called we are passing the new props. As we are passing the new props, the render method of employee component is called again and the UI get updated. Okay, so we'll see how that happens, how it is happening. So as for our code, if we click on the first employee, when we click on the paragraph of first employee, we are changing the name to Govinda and age to 59. On second paragraph click, we are changing name to Akshay and age to 60. We'll see. So just keep an eye on this first component, first employee component. On click of paragraph, the name and age will change. Click on this. The name is changing to Govinda and year is changing to 59 years. That's what we have passed. Then on click of second, we are again changing the first employee component name and age. Because why it is changing the first one? Because whatever the parameter we have received in the function, we are modifying the first component. Here we have not done any business logic. So we are directly modifying the first component, whether we have clicked on the first paragraph or second paragraph. So just keep an eye on the first. If I will click on this, the first is changed to Akshay and age is 63 years. So what we have passed for the second component. For the second component, we have passed Akshay and 63 years old. That's why on click of the second paragraph of employee component, the first employee component is changed to Akshay and age 63. Why it is changing the first employee component even though we are clicking the second employee component? Because here we are changing the first component. In the function whatever we have received, we are changing the first component, not the second one. We are not doing any kind of business logic like whichever employee is clicked, only that name and age will be changed. Those kind of stuff we are not doing here for simplicity of understanding. Okay. So let me comment this also. So we have learned how to call a function by using the onClick, how to call a function in the same component by directly using the event and event handler. For passing the function reference to the child component and calling that function from the child component, what we have to do, we have to provide the props. And in the props, if you want to provide the parameter to the function, we have to use bind or we can use the arrow function. I think I want this also. Okay. So what will be? We'll see the two-way data binding. Okay. So two-way data binding also exists in React.js. So for two-way data binding, I need this input element. So now in the render method, we have only one employee component. In this employee component, what we are doing, we have a change prop. In change prop, we are passing the name change handler function reference. So we'll go to the name change handler. The name change handler event. In the name change handler function, event handler function, what we are doing, we are changing the state. We are changing the state of the first employee on the basis of whatever the user has entered the data in the input field. That's why we have an input field in the employee component. Whatever the user has entered, we are retrieving this by using event.target.value and age is hard coded. So event.target corresponding to this input and dot value will give whatever the user has typed. So in the app component, we are passing this changed prop. So it's not an event, it's a prop because we want to call this function from the child component. That's why we have to provide this as a prop, not the event. So we are passing the reference of the function, and in employee component we have an input field which is of type equal to text, in which we have an event, because here what we want, as soon as the user type or change the input field, we want to fire the name change handler event. So here it is being sent as a changed prop, so we have to access that. On change event, we are calling that function by using props.change, and we are binding the input field with some default values, the props.name, the props that whatever it receives. Prop.names means the name that we are sending. This one, this is the name. State of person0.name. Person0.name means this one, Anil we are sending. Okay, so we'll see in action the two-way data binding. We'll see we have one employee component in which we have a input field. Okay, in input field by default we have some value, Anil. Why it is by default? Because we are using the value property and we are binded to the props.name, the props that it received, and it will receive with props, it will receive the person array of index0.name, means the Anil value. Okay, then on change, if you type anything, this change function will be called, means this will trigger this function, name change handler. In name change handler, we are retrieving whatever the user has input and we are modifying the employee name on the basis of that. Okay, so you'll see as we type, just keep an eye on the name. Anil K-A-R. See, as I am typing, this name is also changed. Kumar. So this is a two-way data binding. We have binded this value to this input field. Then whatever we are typing, we are binding from this input field to the employee component, means to the app component. This is a two-way data binding. Okay. In this way, we can achieve the two-way data binding. So here in two-way data binding, one important thing is, if we are providing a value to any form element, we have to use onChange event. So if I will remove this, you will see an warning message. In the console, if you see, you will get a warning message like it is saying you provided a value prop to a form field, which is the input field, without an onChange handler. We are providing the value without onChange handler. This will render a read-only field. So if the field should be mutable, means if you want to change the field, use default value, otherwise set either onChange or read-only. So to rectify this, it is saying we have to use either onChange event or read-only. So if I will use read-only, okay, so maybe read-only O is in caps, I believe. Yeah. See, on using the read-only, the error get gone. We are not seeing this error. It's a read-only, so we could not type anything. Or if you want to change, then it is saying we have to use this one. So it is saying if we have to change this one, if you want to make this field as editable, we have to listen to the onChange event. Otherwise, it is showing a warning message. So onChange event is necessary if you are binding an input field to your head. Okay. So this is what. Let me comment this also. So in this way, we have learned the two-way data binding. So now we learn something on style. How we can provide style to our component. So we can provide style means how we can provide look and feel to our component. So Currently, if you see in my employee component, I have used a class name of employee. This employee class name is declared in the employee.css file. So this employee CSS file, and this CSS file we have to refer in the employee.js. So it does not mean like whatever the CSS we have written, it will only applicable to this file. No, it does not mean like that. So actually in React.js, every CSS is a global CSS. So even though we are declaring the employee class here and we are using the employee CSS in this file only, if we use the employee class in app in any other component, then same CSS can be applied to the app component also. So everything is a global because it's a single page application. We'll see how we'll prove that. So let's suppose so here, okay. So if you see, so let me uncomment this one, or I will uncomment this one. If you see, everything, all the text are written in the green color. Why it is in green color? We'll see. First of all, we'll look into the hi all welcome to React.js, so which is in app component. If you see, it is in h1 tag and we have given class name as header container, and this header container is defined in app.css having color as red. It's having a color of red, but still it is displaying in green color. Why this is, we will see that. And we are referring this app.css file in the JS component. We are importing this one. Okay. Then what next? Then I am using this same class in my employee component. In the P tag we have same class in which we are displaying my name is something. So this is what. This is having the same class as in app CSS. This one, header container. This class is again redefined in employee CSS having color as green. That's why everything is written is displayed in green color. If you will comment this green color, you'll see everything is in red color. Okay, why everything is red color? Because in app CSS we have the same class which is having color as red. If you are using the same class in some other CSS file, let it be employee CSS, then that same class with the same property get overwritten. Okay, that's why we are seeing the green color. Why this is happening? We'll do inspect element. You'll see it's a single page application, so this is the content for the entire page. We'll go to the head tag. In the head tag, if we'll see, just scroll down, we'll find the style tag. This is the first style in which it is defined some CSS property for the body tag. We have not defined this one. It is already being written in index.css file, which we got when we created our application. This is what it is defined here. Same thing is being shown here. Header tag for the body CSS. We will close this. Next CSS is our root component, the app component. In app component we have two classes, one app class, another is header container. So in app CSS we have two classes, one app class and another is header container. Then we have the third CSS file, which is the employee CSS file, in which we have two classes, employee and header container. Employee and header container. And this CSS file, if you see the index.html file, which we will find in the public folder, if you see nothing, no CSS is being in the head section. You won't find any CSS declared within the head section. But in the inspect element we are seeing the CSS. So this is being included by the Webpack. And whichever the last child component, that CSS will be applicable. That is having the more specificity. It's a CSS rule, right? So that's why in the app component we have a class of header container. In employee component we have the same class header container having color as screen. That's why this is having higher specificity because it comes later. That's why it is applicable to all the content in app as well as employee. Okay, if this is an employee component. If you do inspect element for this one, you will see this is the h1 tag for which the color is green. The red color that we have provided earlier, that is not applicable because it is get overridden in employee.css file. And same for the employee component for the p tag. If you see, the color is green, the red is not applied. So in this way, like the CSS file, what I want to prove here is whatever the CSS file we are using, even though we are using this one in employee.js file and app.css in app.js file, but still this CSS file are global. If we are using the whatever the CSS we have used in this file, if you are using the same class name in some other JS file, then that CSS will get applicable. The CSS is applicable on the basis of the last child component that is being included in app component. In app component, our last child is the employee. That's why the CSS corresponding to employee get applied for the same class. If we have one more child element, then the CSS corresponding to that child element will be applied, will be get overwritten for the same class and same properties. Okay, so we'll like how we can avoid this, how we can apply unique CSS, unique class to all the elements. So we'll see in our later video. So there is a CSS module for that. We will look into that, how we can apply unique class for all the elements so that it won't be overridden. We'll look into that in our upcoming videos. Don't worry about that. Then what next? How we can apply inline style. Okay, so let me tell you, this is not a not a HTML code. It's a JavaScript code. That's why we cannot apply inline style. Although it looks like HTML, but it's actually a JavaScript, a JSX code. So if you see, I have a button in which I have applied the inline style, the same way that we usually apply for the HTML button. But if I will save this, we will see the error message. Okay, it is saying the style prop expect a mapping from style property to value, not a string. So it is saying style is a prop. Everything in CSS, in React.js is a prop. So it is considering this as a string rather than considering it as a property. That's why it is not able to apply. So it is saying the style prop should receive a value. The value should be like this. So within the curly braces. Within the curly braces, we should have one object having property as the key and value as its value. So margin right is the property and value is some EM, 1 EM, 2 EM, whatever the EM you will specify, and that should be in the curly braces. This is what they expect. The React.js expect. So that's why this inline way of applying style won't be applicable here. This is the important concept. What we have to do, we have to create a const for that. A constant variable I have created. Constant of style. And name this style you can name as for your convenient. Any name it is feasible. I have declared the CSS property. It's an object having key value pair. Just keep it in mind. If we have a multi-word CSS property like background color, actually the CSS property is background hyphen C in small caps. in lowercase, but it is not reconciled with React.js. So that's why we have to remove the hyphen and we have to make the C as in caps, in upper cap. Okay, like this. So multi-word should be written like this in camel case. And we have declared some of the CSS property: background, font, border, padding, cursor. All this you all are aware of that. And we are binding this style constant variable to the button by using this one, style equal to, within the curly braces we have to provide the variable, we have to provide the object. So this is the object that we have created, so we provide the same object. Okay, so let me minimize the screen so that we'll see the, okay, so let me save it. Now everything will work good and we'll see a button now with some border. See, we have applied border of 1 pixel solid blue border we are getting, and even the cursor as pointer. So that's we have added cursor as pointer, the hand like symbol. Okay, this is how we can apply inline CSS. So for the inline CSS is being applicable to a particular element, and for if you are adding to the external CSS, all the external CSS are like global CSS. It is not like it is applicable only to that component. It's actually applicable to the globally to the entire application for the same class having same properties. So we can avoid that by using CSS modules. We'll come to that later. Okay. So here's one important concept we should cover also. The important concept is how we can change the state in our application if we are using the functional component. So in the class-based component, in which we have a class extending a component, in that we can update the state by using the state property and by calling the state function. But if it is a functional component, how we can change the state? Here comes the use of React hooks. Okay, so let me take a backup of this code. I need that in future. So let me open this one. Okay, so I have taken the backup. Okay, I'll use this. Now my app component is a functional component. We are not using the class base, we are using the function, and we are exporting that to us. And in that function, what we are using, for like in the class based approach we have a state property, but in functional component we don't have any state property. So what we have to use, you have to use React hook. In React hook means React hook is a collection of function which is being used only with the functional component, and all the functions start with use prefix. So okay, so this is like we have to import use state from React, because use state is a hooks method for keeping the state of the application. So in the use state, it will take an object, and here we will define the state. We have defined an array of person. This use state always return an array having always 2 values in the array. So we are storing that in const, and we are using the ES6 concept of destructuring the array. So this is the first value, this is the second value. This first value contains the state that we have defined here. the current state, and this is a function for updating the state. Now in the switch handler function, the switch handler is called as it is on click of button. In switch handler function, we are calling set employee state. This is the function for updating the state. So you can name this and this any name of your convenience, and use state is a keyword. It should be use state. So whatever name you will give here, you will provide the same name here. And here we are updating the state. Earlier we have Anil and 28 age for the first employee. Now the name is Ajay and age is 60. So now the state is changed on click of button. The render function is called again. It will pass the props, updated prop for the first employee. Then our UI get updated. Okay, we'll see in action. So if you see, just keep an eye on the first employee. The name is Anil and age is 28 years. On click of button, name is Ajay and age is 60 years. So it's working. So we can able to update the state by using React hooks. So it is possible with the functional component also by using the use state property. Okay. So means in our application, in my application, I always prefer the component based approach, the class based approach of creating the component, because it's a established way. This is the older way of which is being established. And most of our application has been used this component based approach, class based approach of creating components rather than functional based approach, because functional based approach is still not stable yet, and the class based approach of creating component is a stable version. So we should stick to that. And you can use anything of your choice, that does not matter, but we usually prefer this traditional way because it's a stable one. We'll back to our component based structure. Okay. And I forgot to mention that in the function based approach, we are using use state function, which return an array. This is the state and this is the function for updating the state. And for accessing the state, we have to use employee state dot person, this person that we are accessing, then the index name whatever. But in class based, we are using this dot state. Okay, this dot state. But in functional component, we don't have to use this keyword. We have to use this one, this name, whatever the name that you have given of your component, for passing this value as a prop to the employee component. Clear? So this is the use of use state hooks function in React.js. So up to this I covered everything which is being necessary for today's session. So for summarizing this, so what I have covered is I covered the state in React.js, state update, state management, how to handle the click event, how to handle the unchange event, how to pass the function reference from parent to child, and how to use inline style, external style, and external style. Why the external style is a global CSS. And also we have covered how to update the state, how to manage the state using in the functional component using use state React.js hooks. So these are all important concepts. So thank you guys for watching. Bye.